Welcome to part one on S-theory, a new unifying framework on emergent spacetime. What if general relativity and quantum mechanics are both wrong? What if we've struggled to understand the universe simply because we were trying to answer the wrong questions? S-theory introduces a completely new foundation. No background spacetime, no built-in particles, no predefined fields, no parallel universes we can't test, no extra dimensions we can't see. Just pure quantum entanglement, and we're finally on the verge of understanding exactly how it works. For 100 years, we've been at war, not with nature, but with our own understanding of it. Two theories, both powerful, both incomplete. General relativity explains gravity as the bending of spacetime. It predicts black holes, gravitational waves, and cosmic expansion, all from geometry. Quantum mechanics describes particles and forces at the smallest scales. Uncertain, probabilistic, and astonishingly precise. But they don't agree. Relativity bends time. Quantum mechanics keeps it fixed. Try to merge them, and the math falls apart. Space unravels. Time breaks. Singularities form where the laws of physics should be strongest. For a century, we've had two brilliant answers, but no way to tie them together. S-theory offers a solution. Before space, before time, there was no matter, no vacuum, just information, floating in a sea of undefined potential. No positions, no directions, no before or after. This is what we call the pre-time state. We present a new kind of entity. We call it a spatum. In the pre-time state, a spatum was a unit of pure information. No mass, no location, no internal structure. It existed only in relation to others. Then they began to entangle. As connections formed, a network began to emerge. But the growth wasn't uniform. Some links resisted connection. That resistance is what we call constraint energy. As entanglement pushed outward, constraint pushed back. Where the two forces balanced, stable structures formed. These are called SEMs, stable entanglement motifs. They are the building blocks of emergent structure. From their geometry alone, we see fundamental particles emerge, built entirely from information. No fields, no dimensions, just stable patterns in a growing network. Like a metal tray warping under heat, the structure deforms where growth meets resistance. That distortion locks structural patterns into place. In S-theory, that's how persistent SEMs are born, and how particles, forces, and spacetime begin. Let's start diving into some of the math behind entanglement. Entanglement does not grow all at once. It follows a simple rule. Mathematically, we define the entanglement growth law with this equation. The entanglement growth rate equals the growth coefficient, eta, times S max minus Sij. The stronger a connection gets, the harder it becomes to grow further. S max is the maximum possible entanglement between two spatums, which are defined by the dimensional limits of their shared Hilbert space. Sij is the current entanglement strength between spatums I and J. That means the growth rate is highest when a connection is weak, and it slows down as it nears saturation. This directional growth is what creates time. But time doesn't just appear, it's built from the growth process itself. Each spatum experiences time based on how much entanglement it still has left to grow. We define proper time at a node with this equation. This sum counts how much headroom remains in each link, how much growth is still possible. If a node's links are weak, it gains time quickly. That's the birth of the universe. If the links are nearly saturated, growth slows. Time slows. That's time dilation. And when saturation is complete, no more growth. Time stops. That's a black hole. A black hole is a saturated region of the entanglement network. Not a tear in space, but an informational dead end. Time stops because growth stops. That's why light bends around the edge. Not because space-time curves, but because the network can't update. The paradoxes vanish because we stop thinking in terms of gravitational geometry and start thinking in terms of entanglement capacity. Information loss. No loss. Black holes don't destroy information. They just stop it from evolving. You can't push new information in. Nothing else can form. The gate is closed. Firewalls, no fire. The edge is smooth, just saturated information. Frozen clocks? Yes. Time really stops. That's the point. Infalling observer. No contradiction. No one crosses into the blackness. Not the faller, not the watcher. Both freeze at the edge. We've been trying to fix these problems by bending space. S-theory fixes them by asking a simpler question. Can this link still grow? Black holes aren't singularities. They're full of structure, full of information, out of time. S-theory uses one set of equations to explain the birth of time, the formation of particles, and the boundary of black holes. A single framework, capable of describing how the universe forms itself. Be on the lookout for part 2, where we dive into particle formation from entanglement and derive the speed of light. Please like and subscribe to the channel to follow along as we explore how powerful this framework really is and what it means for the future of our understanding of the universe.